following podcast is recorded and produced by Emerge, a media creators co-op, in affiliation with the network at bicbb-radio.com. The following podcast is recorded and produced by Emerge, a media creators co-op. The following podcast is recorded and produced by Emerge, a media creators co-op, in affiliation with the network at bicbb-radio.com.
Hello, and welcome to the 17th episode of the Big YAC Podcast. It is I, Mike Meranto, back from the dead. Alongside me is, as always, Nico and we have special guests, Zak Meranto from the Zack2 Podcast.
Number one in the fantasy league. Thank you guys for having me on.
Sir, yeah, this is going to be our Halloween special. You know, Halloween is next Monday, and we tape on Wednesdays, so, you know, couldn't really do it.
Yeah, if you do it after the fact, it's
nope. Yeah. So let's take a look at our costumes. I am technically, you could say a sailor, but
big boat.
I am what they call big boat. Big boat is
that's a vintage Mike Meranto throwback character.
Yes, it's the big boat saga era of my life was like high school. I made a funny rap song.
Whatever you do after this show, definitely don't look up Big Boat on SoundCloud.
Don't do it unless you want your ears to bleed. So yeah, that was my Big Boat era because that was when Lil Yachty and Lil Boat was the big thing. So I was Big Boat. So yeah, this is paying homage to that. So I see you're an astronaut, Nico. Yeah?
I'm out of this world today.
Ground control to Major Tom. Ground control to Major Tom.
That's an old David Bowie song. Yes, me and Molly went to a Halloween party over the weekend. My aunt and uncle throw it every year. It's a big bash. It's great. Her costume was, according to Spirit Halloween, extraterrestrial hottie.
Okay.
So she was an alien, and that was probably one of like my best costumes that I've gone through in my adult years.
Yeah. Zach, Roy Kent.
I'm Roy fucking Kent. Greatest player in would be my beloved Chelsea's history, as according to Ted Lasso, the greatest show on
and he's
television.
Here, he's there, he's every fucking where.
He's every fucking where. He's Roy Kent.
I'm allowed to swear in that context because I'm quoting.
Right,
it's
you're not swearing.
I'm
That's
not
just a
swearing.
quote.
I'm using it within the context of the reference.
Yeah. Yeah. So do you think that's the greatest Halloween costume you've came up with?
This is a pretty good one. Last year, me and all my friends did Mario Party, and so I was Luigi, and everyone was different. That was cool. I think I'm on a hot streak right now of like my last 2 years, and I think it's only up from here. We had a bunch of ideas that we were gonna do. Like I wanted to do Ricky Bobby and Carly Bobby, but we couldn't get the costumes in time. So unfortunately.
That would have been
so
such
we had
a good
to
costume.
call an audible, and now I'm in. Getting ready for my blast off for Apollo 23.
23. I think my greatest costume. This isn't like what I'm gonna. This is just for tonight. I have a bunch of different costumes.
Well, you had the weekend. I think that was one of your top costumes.
That was my top costumes because my sister, she did my makeup. That was the 2020 year where he did After Hours, and when he performed in the Super Bowl, he had all the bandages, the red suit. I was on point. I performed at a Halloween party, had a microphone before blinding lights in front of like 14 people. Yeah, I was severely hammered. It was a great time. That was probably like one of my best costumes. Last year, I had a couple costumes. I was Dr. Doofenshmirtz from Phineas and Ferb.
That's hilarious. I didn't see that one.
It was, I didn't really post that one really. I went to a party. It wasn't that great, but it wasn't bad.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I was the best one though from last year was I was the lead singer from Nickelback. and I had.
Look at this photograph.
So I printed out him holding the photograph in the music video, and I had it in a photograph frame, and I had the wig cut, and white T-shirt, jeans, and
I think we need to resurface this picture here.
If I'll look it up. I think
you need to post it onto the Big Yak story.
I'll put it on the Big Yak story. I'll put after we're done with this. I think those were my 2 Halloween costumes last year, so it was pretty good. What about you, Zach? Is there
my Halloween costume heat map or whatever you want to call it, or chart, it's like starts like going up like this, and then it drastically drops down, stays down here for about 7 years, and then last year went up.
Last year
again.
we were great.
Last year I did Ted Lasso. I shaved
with us to the Halloween party last year.
Everybody else, I was supposed to think I think I was supposed to be Waluigi.
Yeah,
I just kind of folded.
Waluigi, and then
I kind of just said, "Nah, fuck
Ted
that."
Lasso walks into our into our house.
A turn of events.
Yeah, I shaved my beard, just had the mustache going for a couple days too, so that was interesting at least. And then 7 years before that, I think I was a soccer player pretty much every year because I just threw something together because I didn't really feel like trying that hard.
It works.
The one year I was a soccer player underneath, but I just brought a white sheet. Didn't even cut a hole in it. Just threw it over the top, and I had somebody guide me, and then I took it off the second I got there because I couldn't see. I was a kid. They were good, though. I did Indiana Jones.
Okay, yeah.
I had short round from the second one, Temple of Doom.
That's a classic.
Everybody just thought I was a Yankees player, but it
Now,
was short round, so.
If I am correct, I have to dig back into the memory here. We're talking like 10, 12 years ago. Your family, your guys' whole family, both of you guys have a great set of decorations.
Yes.
You guys were in a competition, right?
I was for Christmas decorations.
It was Christmas. Gotcha.
He pretty much spearheaded everything. We kind of he said, just put this here. I said, okay. Like that's kind of all I really did. And then after a while, I was like, I'm not helping you out anymore. I hate to tell you. But
yeah, the staff all quit after the television year, and then that was pretty much out there by myself.
That was the great hurrah.
Occasionally, someone comes out and hold a ladder. That's about it.
Yeah, we held the ladder, especially after the one time it fell beneath you or whatever.
I almost died. Putting up Christmas decorations.
We would have to help you carry the fucking sled out every year.
Yeah, which
was
really
the most
upset.
annoying thing to carry ever. And we always ended up arguing when we were carrying because it was the most annoying thing to carry of all time.
I'm sorry.
There's no good way to carry it.
Your traumatized childhood. I'm sorry.
we have Mr. Meranto over here as a throwback Sabres fan.
He's dressed up as a winning record.
Yes, I'm the the 2001 Sabres fan.
Yeah, Finnegan-off jersey.
Finnegan-off, man, he was great. I loved him. He was good.
Yeah, they're new jerseys. They have the alternate.
I'm ready for those.
Goat head.
I am ready for
those. Those are sharp-looking
I'm a big
jerseys.
fan.
I'm buying one of those.
Yeah,
I might buy one of those before a proper, one.
Yeah.
Did you see the Detroit and Chicago jerseys?
Not yet.
They released all the reverse alternates. It's literally just like both of them are just red jerseys with lines, and it says like Chicago and Detroit.
You had me.
They're terrible.
Oh god,
they're so bad.
Come on.
Like they put no effort into it. I don't know if that's like a jersey they used to have or something like way back when or what it was, but there's no effort involved with it whatsoever. It looks like, but
that's too bad. We had to have Zach on because 2 weeks ago we were on Zack2 Podcast. Had a good time, talked a lot about appetizers and a lot of other fun stuff, and so we had to have Zach on this week. I was out last week. It was Nico and Matt Johnson from BICBP Network. I had strep throat last week, so that's why I wasn't here. That was the
Mike
illness.
was out with non-COVID illness.
Non-COVID illness.
If it's either COVID or not COVID nowadays, and you have fallen under the bracket of non-COVID illness.
Yeah, so basically my tonsils were swollen to the point where like my whole throat was like closed. So I couldn't do anything. I was out of work. I was just at home for like 4 days. And but Nico and Matt did a very good job last week.
Thank you.
So,
had to hold it down.
Yeah, we're back at full staff this week. And that being said, Zach, let's get into the 2-minute drill.
yeah, I'm not sure how I'm gonna feel about this, but we'll see how it goes though.
Yeah, it's not too bad. I'm looking at the questions now. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't. I'm not gonna hurt you too bad.
All right.
Sound like the Joker from.
Would you like to play a game or like? I'm gonna do something that might hurt you bad. All right, I got 2 minutes. Whenever you're ready.
Alrighty, I'm ready when you are.
All righty, in 3, 2, 1. Let's ride.
Zach, on Monday night, Chicago decimated the New England Patriots 33-14. Are the Bears better than expected, or are the Patriots just a mess?
I think it's a mixture of both. So I think for starters, Mac Jones underperformed. Put on Matt Zappi. Started off really good, obviously. Threw a first pass was a touchdown. So I really thought Matt Zappi was going to save the game. But, until Bears get a quarterback, Justin Fields isn't winning them anything. So they might win a game like that, but they're never going to be a playoff team with Justin Fields as their quarterback.
Gotcha.
Jets have acquired running back James Robinson from the Jags. Does he take the starting job in New York, or does it remain Michael Carter's?
I think they'll start with Michael Carter. So you kind of ease James Robinson in, and then once James Robinson gets going, I think he'll take over at that point. But hurts to see him go as a secondary Jags fan as my second team.
Oh, yeah?
It's kind of a long-standing joke, but
another Jets question. Best landing spot for Jets wide receiver Elijah Moore. Teams in contention: Packers, Giants, Chiefs. Any of those teams? Do you think?
I think Packers just need a receiver. I think they just need someone that can be a definitive wide receiver one. Whether it's the best wide receiver or not, there's somebody that can actually catch the ball. Because Alan Lazard or whoever they consider the wide receiver one's not cutting it. Yeah. I have Lazard in fantasy, and I can attest to that.
Christian McCaffrey to the 49ers. How dangerous are they now?
See, this is a weird one for me because I think that they're complete across the board now, except for a quarterback. And I like Jimmy G. He's proven he can get that team to a Super Bowl, but I don't know if he can get over the line, especially because it's probably going to be the Chiefs or the Bills this year, and I don't know if he has enough to get them past the Chiefs or the Bills, like in his arsenal. He has enough weapons, but I don't think his own personal skill is enough to get them past the Chiefs or the Bills.
6 seconds.
Best appetizer according to the Zack2 Podcast.
Oh, shit. What did we say? Oh, fuck.
That's time.
Mozzarella sticks.
Was it?
No,
was it the Mozzie sticks? Was that what you
put? I think we put Mozzie sticks as A. I think best appetizer is fried calamari, but I know that's not what we agreed on. But I don't remember what we.
Yeah, I don't know if we agreed on like a general appetizer.
Yeah, I wasn't agreeing with you guys. Fried calamari was up there. I was like, nah, that's D tier.
I was like that or chicken wing dip was probably the.
I think we agreed on chicken wing.
I think
dip
we agreed that was an S tier one.
Yeah.
And then lastly, the most underappreciated Halloween candy.
Ooh. I'm gonna say it. This is gonna be it probably won't be my first burning hot take of this if we're going into a Halloween candy tier list.
Okay.
But I think dots are underrated.
That's fair.
Dots.
I agree
think
with
that's
you.
I've got a lot of hate every time I said dots are underrated.
I get dirty looks.
I get dirty looks. Like we would when I was back in my Wegmans days. Somebody would buy like a thing of candy and there'd be dots, and he's the only one that ever ate them. And then we was like, "Why the hell are you eating dots?" I'm like,
"The
"What
dots
do you
are
mean?
good.
Dots are elite."
I'm right there with you. I am right there with you. We're getting nasty looks now, but I'm. You know what? Strength in numbers, Zach.
I'm not a dots guy.
My problem is they get stuck in your teeth way too much.
Yeah,
it's like Sour Patch Kids. Yeah, just to like dig it out or something.
Yeah. That being said. Before we get into the bulk of our football segments, since it's about to be Halloween, I want to break down our top 5 best and worst Halloween foods / candies. And these can range from mostly from when you went trick or treating as a kid and whatnot, but it could range to some of the newer candies that have came out now. But let's start with Zach. Do you have a top 5 best Halloween candy?
What's your number 1 overall?
Number 1? I think it's got to be a Twix.
A Twix?
I think it's just you got the chocolate, you got the wafer, whatever the hell it's on the inside.
Solid contender.
You got the caramel.
Wait, the left Twix or the right Twix?
Oh, the right Twix.
See, now we're getting into meta.
I don't know what it is, but for me, free Twix is always been my number 1 option.
Yeah.
My number 1, and this is just a general statement. My number 1 when I was trick-or-treating was just any full-sized candy bar. It didn't matter what it was, but when you would go door to door and then that, you were in like the nicer neighborhoods and they like.
Did you have a certain spot you knew that? Because I always
had a cul-de-sac in all.
I always had shout out to Sawalski's. Even when I wasn't trick-or-treating, I would just walk by and they would always make me come and grab a full-size candy bar. And I always would grab a Twix every single year, or Twix or a Snickers, depending on what I was feeling that year. But
those were the best. Nothing can top the full-size candy bar.
No. Yeah, no, you can't. My number 1, Reese's Pieces or the Lifesaver gummies.
Okay.
Either way,
valid.
give me a bag
I'll
of
be
those.
honest. I don't think I've ever received
None.
Lifesavers gummies from a trick or treating basket.
That was. You didn't see you know the TikTok trend
No.
with the guy. He says Racy Pacy's or Lifesaver gummies.
No.
No. All right. Ignore whatever I just said.
I've never seen.
I thought everybody has seen that trend. Never mind. Ignore what I just said. There might
You're
be
in,
somebody
like,
out
the-
there that appreciates
You're in like
it.
the deep like candy talk or something. I don't know what.
It's on the
what
dark
you're-
web.
Dark web.
Dark talk.
I'm agreeing with Zach though. Twix is my number one for sure. If I had to give another like the rest of my top 5 though, Kit Kat's up there.
Kit Kat's
See, this is
another classic contender.
this is what I'm gonna. This is where I'm gonna. I said my second hot take was gonna come in.
All right.
I think Kit Kats are the worst candy ever
Oh
made.
no!
What?
Oh
I
no!
mean, they're
and-
not that much different from Twix.
No, here's the thing. They are. They are. I
Elaborate.
promise you
I
they
need you
are.
to elaborate.
So maybe this is just PSD. I thought it was just PTSD just sitting in, and like because I had Kit Kat when I was younger, and I like projectile vomited.
Oh.
Like I hated it
Well,
so much I
I
vomited.
mean, there you go. There's
and
your answer.
then the one day at work I tried it again because I was like, you know what? It's been
projectile
like
vomit.
10 years. Like I there's no way I vomit now. I'm like it can't. It can't happen. So I tried it and I was just like, I spit it out. I couldn't finish it.
Damn.
I don't know
that-
what it
that's-
is. They
that's-
they taste disgusting to
That's
me.
trauma. I
It's-
think that's
Like I don't know if it just reminds me of barf or like what it is now, but
It's
Kit
probably-
Kat's got ruined for you.
but
See,
Kit Kat I can't eat a Kit Kat. Like I just think they're gross.
this time of year, they even make like the special Kit Kats. Like there's
See,
like
that's
the
the weird thing is
Kit Kat,
I
they're
like
green.
some of the special ones. I just a normal Kit Kat is like the most disgusting thing I've ever tried in my life.
I don't know if you guys know Big Cookie back from Wegmans.
I was about
I
to say
yeah, I know Big Cookie.
Shout out to Big Cookie because he would order all of these different types of Kit Kats from around the world. Like you'd have like raspberry Kit Kat or like
Yeah.
cookies and cream Kit Kat or like stuff like that, and he would like dump a whole pile of it up at the customer service desk.
you literally just dump it on the counter. And be like, here you guys go. And we're like, oh, thanks.
Thanks, man.
Hey, in Europe, all the candy has ridiculous flavors.
Yes.
Remember when we would go to the store? There'd
Oh,
be Kit Kats or
yeah.
whatever, but then there would be like, it was everything like chips, whatever it is. It's like, we have a little bit of that here, but you get over there and it's like
What was the one?
everything's got
We
like
had,
ridiculous
I
flavors.
think Christian bought like paprika chips or something like random like that.
Yeah,
They're
there was a lot of
surprisingly good.
paprika over there. A lot of
Yeah.
paprika and a lot of
They
stuff.
were
over
surprisingly decent, to be honest. Like I wouldn't get them all the time, but like every once in a while, I would get them. But it was super weird. But
Yeah.
You guys ever hear of Bussin' Snacks?
I've seen the TikTok ads for it.
Yeah, Bussin' Snacks is basically like you order from this website and they give you a care package or some kind of like something, and it's like you could get Twix from England, you could get like Sunkist from Indonesia, and like stuff like that, and they put it in this care package, and then TikTok influencers try it, and yeah.
Sounds like we need a sponsorship from this company.
I wish I would do some Bussin' Snacks reviews.
Bussin' Snacks.
on-
We could do it.
I would, that'd be a weekly segment for definitely
Bussin'
for Zach
Snacks.
Square,
Take
I
it to
mean.
the bank.
We already have drink of the week, but
Yeah, but I just see all these snacks and they're like, whoa, like it's better than a lot of the stuff we have in America, from what it seems. A lot of generic stuff.
they also make it like a little bit healthier too. Not that really matters when you're gonna make a candy bar, but like it's not processed the same way.
Yeah.
Like it's processed in a healthier way.
Makes sense. Makes
But
sense.
on the topic of foreign candies, though, I've never received one for Halloween because it's just not an American thing. But all the Kinder bars, it doesn't matter what it is.
Oh yeah.
Any like Kinder Bueno, like they're just all phenomenal.
Molly
they're
goes
so
feral
good.
for Kinder Buenos.
Kinder Buenos, there's one other one that like, because Kinder Buenos were like my second favorite when I went.
Have
there's
you ever
another
had a
one.
Kinder Bueno? They're like a.
Are
it's
they
like
the
a,
eggs?
Like a chocolate. No, they're like they're in a
No.
bar. They're like little logs of like wafer.
Yeah, no, but they do come in eggs in America.
Yes.
Yeah, see,
Yeah.
I've had the egg ones, but I've never had the bars.
Because weren't the
There's something about
The
the
eggs
bars,
banned?
the way the balance is laid out.
Okay.
I don't like the eggs because it's all gooey and it's just
Yeah.
like it's just a mess.
Yeah, it was kind of like a mess when I
But
ate
when
it, I
it's
was
the
like,
bar, there's just something about it. 'Cause he hooked me on when he was in Germany. He's like, "Do you see those things?" And I was like,
Yeah, they had us try and like they had some ready for us when they picked us up from the airport. And I was like, oh my god. They're like, and the next day I literally like got back from like whatever we did that day, and there was just like a pile of them just sitting on the counter in the room I was in. I was like, okay, I mean like that works for me.
Yeah.
This is a new era candy, and I don't know if they make the packet size yet for Halloween. But Nerds gummy clusters have taken over my life.
I haven't tried them yet. I'm gonna
those are good.
Essentially, you ever had a Nerds rope?
Yeah.
It's just chopped up into bits and then put into like a little.
I had those.
bag.
Those are good, man.
Funny story. When we came back from Miami, we were on the flight back down. There was a guy sitting next to me, and then there was a guy across from him, and they were two of them were talking. And this guy goes, do you want to have the best high you're ever going to have in your life?
Oh, no.
And he pulls out a bag of just blue Nerds gummy clusters. No edibles or anything. It's just gummy clusters.
Oh, so he was joking.
Yeah, he goes, you want to have the best? And he was like, these things get you ripped. And it was just a big bag of
He's probably
Nerds
trying to
gummy
set you
clusters.
up. Like,
No, it was like he was talking to the other dude across from the aisle. And they were like, whoa, like this is insane. It was the weirdest thing I've ever seen because it was just regular candy, but these guys were freaking out over the candy.
God, what the heck? What about worst candies? So this is my top 5
Whoppers.
worst.
Whoppers.
Whoppers are up there.
Gotta be
Bottom tier.
I have Almond Joy.
Yep, I'm right there with you.
I have Heath bars.
I wouldn't say bottom 5. I say that's like a mid tier.
Heath bars are in my top 5.
Really?
Those
They're in my
mallow
top
cups
3.
are pretty bad.
Oh
Yeah.
Those are just like you eat them and you're like.
Like, you think it's like a Reese's. It's gonna be like halfway like a Reese's peanut butter cup, but it's just
It's not the same.
It's just I don't know what's in it. It's just terrible.
Yeah. You guys know what runts are?
Yes.
So like the little packages of like candy fruit. Horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible.
This would be considered the candy sits if we're going by fantasy terms. We
Yes.
already had our candy starts. This is our candy sits.
The black Twizzlers are just licorice in general. Get that shit.
Yeah, I'm not a licorice guy.
If you
for
hand me
Halloween.
black licorice, I'd probably rather throw it back in your face than just accept it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not that bad.
I have,
It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad.
Yeah, I have
Milk duds.
Milk duds. Yeah.
Yep.
Milk duds are up there. Milk
Sit
duds
milk
are
duds.
just hard to chew. They're just like, I don't know. They're just not. I don't know. You can't. It's not like a candy bar. They're just little things of
Dud.
duds.
They're a milk
They're
dud.
duds.
That's-
And then last I have Laffy Taffies.
I like Laffy Taffies, but they've been like oversaturated in my life. Like I feel like it's like when
like
you're
there's
a
too much
kid,
hype
you go
around
through
them.
so much candy, and all you're left with is like 15 yellow Laffy Taffies.
Oh my god, the yellow ones are. I hate the yellow ones so much. Like I love bananas,
I
but
feel like
like
lemon candy in general is just like, I'm
Yeah.
not a big lemon candy guy.
You don't like lemon heads?
Lemon heads
No.
are solid.
I like-
I put lemon
rock
heads
with
in
lemon
probably
heads.
my bottom
Lemon heads are good when you go to the
5 or so.
movies. That's a good movie candy.
Yeah.
I
okay.
just don't think there's
That's
ever a good
take.
time for lemon heads.
It's the only time I think about it because I see them at the counter and I get them like at the movies.
Yeah, all $10 for a box of shit.
I
Basically.
got to throw out. I'm a little frustrated here. The 2 candies haven't come up. My 2 favorite are Butterfingers,
That's
Okay.
another top
Yeah,
tier
Butterfingers
candy.
are up there.
and you know the other one. What's the other one, Zach?
Oh, peanut M&Ms.
Peanut M&Ms, man. I could
This
just.
guy doesn't
eat.
shut up about
He's
his
a
peanut
fiend.
M&Ms.
I could.
What
eat.
about okay? Then what's your
Okay, there. You mentioned about like youth and stuff and your like memory of them.
Mm-hmm.
When I was in high school, that was the only candy they ever sold was like M&M in the boxes, like the peanut M&Ms and just the plain ones. And so my friends and I, we'd get hungry about 10:30 because our lunch was at 1 o'clock every year, whatever it was. I always had like a late lunch, and we would just be running around getting a pass from our teacher to try to find M&Ms in the building, and just peanut M&Ms to this day, like. I could eat like we buy that huge bag, and I just like walk by and just eat way too many of them. It's just funny, but they're good.
Peanut M&Ms are good, but nowadays at the pretzel M&Ms, those do it for me.
See, I'm not like a salty person. Like I can't get with salty.
They're salty
stuff.
and they're sweet, man.
Yeah, and I can't get behind salty.
Can't go wrong.
Double threat.
Yeah.
All right, your candy sleepers. Let's hear it.
Candy
I
sleepers.
don't know if it's a candy. Why I have 2. One, Milky Way is the most underappreciated candy.
All right.
I agree with that.
I think
All
they're
right.
they're an
Okay.
easy
That's
top
a
5 in my
sleeper
opinion.
pick.
I can
Everybody's
mess
like,
up a Milky Way.
it was like they're too creamy. I'm like, what are you talking about? They're not perfect. Only thing that I think is a perfect candy bar is Twix.
Okay.
But I don't think this other one counts as a candy necessarily. But I was always disappointed when I didn't go home with a popcorn ball.
Oh, not the popcorn ball.
I yossed the popcorn ball.
I don't know what it was. I just love getting a popcorn ball every year.
I think that for me that comes back to I don't like salty stuff. So like popcorn ball, gone, good as garbage.
Yeah, my grandma used to give me those.
I mean, they're not that good, but there's just something about the popcorn.
That's your sleeper.
It's just a sleeper. Like it's just kind of an average thing, but like you only get like one a year at most, and you're like, I kind of just want a popcorn ball.
I think it's nostalgia for you.
Yeah, I feel like I got one like twice, to be honest, too. So
my sleeper is Nerds. That's my
Nerds
sleeper.
is
the little boxes, like the purple and pink boxes of Nerds.
Yeah.
Like as a kid, dude, I used to just like
you'd pop them
rip
open
and just that's my sleeper.
Okay, here's another sleeper for you. You said Milky Way, and I think this is in the same category. Three Musketeers. Yeah, solid.
Yeah.
It's a
They're
solid
the same.
candy.
They're basically the same candy, but they're real similar.
I can't. Get
You know what we haven't
that.
talked about is Snickers. I don't think.
Yeah, Snickers are overrated.
Whoa.
They're good. Don't get me wrong. They're good.
Come on, man.
Time out. I'm throwing the challenge flag because that's unacceptable.
Like they're good. Don't get me wrong, but like.
Well, have you ever? I guess the other question is
the folklore that a Snickers will get you through the day when you're hungry. They've done such a great job marketing that, and they're right though.
Well, then they took it and then shoved it down my throat.
Yeah, but I mean, maybe you're just bitter.
Oversaturated.
But nothing's worse than the Progressive commercials, though.
Yeah, that's right.
Anything's better than I can't see
I've
Flo's
never thought
stupid fucking face. And that little blonde shit that's with her. I can't look at them anymore.
Oh my
I wanna
god.
punch them. Get somebody else for your commercials. It's been 15 years.
Is it Progressive right next to us, or what is that? Nationwide.
That's nationwide.
Oh, it's Nationwide. Oh, all right. I was gonna say Progressive's right there, man.
I had to get insurance for the building, and I refused to get Progressive. Like I didn't even price them because I'm like, no, I'm not giving Flo any work. I'm not. We hate the Progressive commercials in our house.
Yeah. It's been going on for like 10 years now.
We get it.
We get it.
It's Flo.
Now John Hamm's ruining his career.
There's a reason why the only movie Flo was ever in besides like the commercials was the Fred movie. And there's a reason why her career ended there in terms of
I didn't even know she was in that movie.
She was in well, that movie was just stupid because it's Fred who is just not even a YouTube. I don't even know what the hell that guy's doing anymore. He probably just took his money and ran.
He's a TikToker now.
Is he?
I want to say he came up on my TikTok one time.
Like a mid-time TikTok.
Yeah. He's not like a top tier.
But like John Cena was his dad, and then Flo was his. That was neighbor.
I think that's a movie that you got to review on next to kin.
I don't think it's
you
worth
watch the
it.
Fred.
I think you might.
I remember when you people were watching that movie when I don't know, you guys were like middle school probably.
I didn't think
we were like 10 or 11.
And everybody was watching that,
and
it was
8 or
like
9.
just and I'd walk into a living room and it would be on, and I'm like, what the hell?
I'm in a
is
living
this?
hell.
So this guy's gimmick is they just pitched his voice.
Yeah.
That's the whole movie, right? That's it.
And acts like a baby.
If you go back and watch like any really early YouTube now, you're like, what the fuck was I doing?
Oh, it's so bad.
Like even Annoying Orange, like Annoying Orange is iconic, but it's just like
annoying.
It's just annoying, yeah. Like,
let's go on to our show. Let's we're already on our show, but let's go on. Wow, let's go on and take it to the bank. Our next segment. For this week, we actually have a competent Thursday night game because the last couple Thursday night games have been just living hells.
They've been atrocious.
Bad
football. Tomorrow
night, Thursday night football, we have Baltimore at Tampa Bay. For DraftKings, for the odds, they have a 1-point spread. Over-under's 45.5, and they have Baltimore as underdogs.
See, give me the Ravens with the points here. This seems like it would be a good bounce back game for the Ravens. They just narrowly escaped last week, and Tampa Bay seems stagnant. With the over and over of 45.5, I'd be surprised if that hits too. I think this is going to be a real run-heavy game. You're going to see a lot of Kenyon Drake, a lot of Gus Edwards, a lot of Lamar Jackson running the ball. And on the flip side, you're going to see a lot of Rashad White and Leonard Fournette because Tom Brady just isn't the same Tom Brady.
No. But yeah, Tampa Bay's they've just been so underwhelming, man. I don't know.
I can't believe Tom Brady gave up his family for
to lose
be
3-21 to the Carolina Panthers.
To lose to the Panthers.
If you were to tell me at the beginning of that week Carolina was going to beat them, I would have said
They almost shut them out. That was insane.
Yeah.
I was watching Red Zone, and I kept flipping to it. And I'm like, am I watching this right? Is the
PJ
score
Walker
right?
is the quarterback.
Yeah. What's going on?
What a story, PJ Walker. I'm happy for him.
Yeah. I'm gonna go Baltimore though.
I'm gonna go switch it up. Put the money line, Baltimore money line. Lamar Jackson plus 50 rushing yards.
Okay.
And over 1.5 total touchdowns.
All right.
That's
a solid parlay.
Take it to the bank.
Take it to the bank.
Taking that to
Put
the
the
bank.
house on it.
With the house on it. All right. You guys might have to watch
Meranto's
out for
looking at
that.
us like,
I don't know what house he's talking about. He's not on my feed.
I always put it in the house. And I said, just put your house.
Not
Put
my
somebody
house.
else, put their
Somebody
house.
else's house. Not my. You're moving out.
Next game we got
London.
We get the London game. Denver and Jacksonville. We have Russell Wilson doing lunges and whatever the hell
Did you
else
see
he was
that?
doing on the flight to London today.
There was a little article that came out earlier today, and it was Russ. It was at his last press conference in England. He said that, oh yeah, he's doing good. I for 4 to 8 hours he was doing stretches and doing high knees up and down the aisles of the
Calisthenics.
airplane. So like the saga of Mr.
Whatever this man's on.
Unlimited is continuing. Like
He
the jokes like start to write themselves at this
he
point.
got to Denver and he started smoking something or something. He found something in Colorado that he didn't have access to in Seattle because he's off the wall since he's got there.
He's always been so cringy, I feel like, but he always had the Legion of Boom behind him. So
Yeah.
it was like that like nerd that was like friends with all of like the
Cool
the
kids.
cool
I kind of pretty much have hated Russell Wilson since he didn't run the ball or didn't give
since the Super Bowl.
since he didn't give Marshawn Lynch the ball on the goal line. I've kind of just been. I know it's not probably his full decision to do that.
He gets the fault for it.
But it's just like, what the fuck are you doing? Just if my coach told me I had Lamar like prime Marshawn Lynch in my backfield, and he's like, throw the ball, I'd be like, fuck no. I'm giving it to Marshawn. It's time for beast mode to go beast mode. The Super Bowl too? Fuck no. I'm running an audible and I'm giving it to Marshawn.
Yeah.
Over under set at 39.5. That's low.
That is low.
Anytime that you give me like an under 40 spread, I am inclined to take the over. Again, I think I quote it every week, just like David Yarger said. Life's too short to take.
I
the
mean, who
under.
would have thought the Bears were going to put up 33 points?
Right,
That too.
right, yeah.
I'm gonna take Jacksonville here because I feel like Jacksonville has a history of being like good in London. I don't know why.
Yeah, I feel like
They're a London
they've
team.
always been talking about it, where it's like London for them is almost like a home game, and like if there's a
Yeah.
place that Jacksonville would relocate to, they could be one of the NFL's first international teams.
Well-
Although we were talking about this, I forget who, if it was you or it was with your dad or who it was, but Germany seems like it would be the place to get an NFL. team
Germany,
before.
just from like my own experience, if you just look at like all the social medias, like there was like an UK, there's like NFL UK and there's like NFL Germany. The one with the most is followers, just for starters. Not that means the most is NFL Germany,
Interesting.
which is like 600,000, which doesn't sound like a lot. But compared to like the second best one's the UK with like 200,000 or 300,000. Which is honestly more than I think people would honestly expect. I don't think NFL would ever work in Europe full time. I just don't think there's. I mean,
Hey.
like just as a soccer fan who's seen interviews and stuff. They're like, we only go to the game because it's one time a year. If it was like a full season, I would never buy tickets. Where I think what's different about Germany is because there's all the U.S. military bases there, and
that's true.
there's just a ton of people that, because of the military bases and everything, there's a ton of Americans in Germany pretty much at all times. And then
That's a heavy influence.
yeah,
for
and like
sure.
when I went to Germany, like the one person that C stayed with, Alcon, he actually played wide receiver in a German American football league.
Interesting.
Which-
That's pretty cool.
Which I didn't. That was
Yeah.
super random because like he was. I mean, when he came here, he practiced like with us for the soccer team the one day, and he was pretty good. I mean, I don't think he was like he wasn't the greatest player I've ever seen, but like he was like, no, I mainly play football, like American football. We're like, what? It's just super random.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe
but-
one day we'll see the Munich Jaguars.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe. But yeah, I was like, I saw that they were doing that. I'm like, oh, that's actually smart because I'm like, I actually heard there's like a pretty big following for the NFL in Germany. 'Cause I think it's kind of just started to to leak over into people because of all the Americans that are there, and they've just been trying to find ways for the Americans to watch it. Probably, I think it's kind of just like leaked to some people there.
Right.
So.
Right.
Yeah. We have a weekly special from that game. Travis Etienne, 100+ rushing yards and 1+ touchdown run as well.
Hell yes.
Plus 330.
Give me that.
I think it's a great bet, especially now that James Robinson's gone.
Yep.
Take it to the bank.
He's going to get a lot of carries, especially if Trevor Lawrence is looking shaky because he hasn't been great every week so far this season. I think he'll definitely get some carries in that game. So
I could see a 20+ carry game easy for Travis Etienne.
Oh yeah. Next game we have Patriots at Jets. Patriots coming to this game on the road and favorites. Over under is 40.5. After what I've seen from last week,
Patriots are favorite over the
Patriots
Jets?
are favorites.
Wow, in New York.
That's
in New York,
outrageous if you ask me.
I am taking Jets 100%. I don't like what I saw from New England Monday night. They're a mess. The quarterback, like they're not even like. I'm not even talking about the quarterback situation as much, but like the team is a mess as a whole. But then you talk about the quarterback situation, and
that's the thing is like I guess the argument that this kind of feels like it might be a trap, just because like we're putting the Jets as the underdog. Like it almost feels like it's one of those traps that they set up, like the Justin Herbert DraftKings bet. I don't know if you guys talked about that.
Yeah. Where everyone's gonna take the Jets because
wherever it almost feels like this is one of those traps. But it's like Breece Hall's out for the season now, but the Patriots don't have a definitive QB1.
Yeah.
Which last year I think a lot of people, we talked about this before. I thought Mac Jones was gonna just be like I don't know about a superstar, but I thought he'd be like a borderline top 10 quarterback.
Be like a Kirk Cousins type, or like not one that's really going to believe. But I got to take off like the NFL, and I got to cap and I got to put on the Bills cap for just a quick second.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't it so great to see the Patriots kind of nosedive into mediocrity?
It's beautiful. I mean, yeah,
it's just weird to see the Jets are on the rise too.
The Jets are moving up. The Patriots are moving down. The Patriots are stuck between a rock and a hard place with two subpar quarterbacks, and it's for as a Bills fan the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
As an NFL fan, a very interesting storyline. I'll put it that way.
I think most of the NFL is probably happy. I think most NFL is probably sick of the Patriots at this point.
They're already sick of the Chiefs now.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
And they're very focused to switch to the Chiefs at this point.
And then it'll be the Bills.
And then it'll be the one for the Bills. Knock on wood.
Once the Bills win
if
their
they
Super Bowl.
finally get that Super Bowl that they've been. I mean, I say if because it's Buffalo and you never know. If they get, then the people are just become sick of the Bills. I think people are already sick of the Bills. So like their fans are obnoxious. I'm like, everybody praised the fans a year ago, but now that we've been good for too long, apparently, which haven't won anything besides the division yet. But apparently we've been too good for too long now. We've been good for like 4 years. And apparently we're too good for too long. So
we have a weekly special from this game as well. Michael Carter and Ramondre Stevenson both with a rushing touchdown plus 225.
I could take that. I think this is another game where we'll see the script be pretty run heavy. The over-under is at 40.5, where, that's really low for me, and I think I'm still going to take the over because, like we talked about before, divisional games are always wonky, and they always end up in, like, really crazy shootouts.
I think that's a solid – the over's a
grab
great
the
bet.
over, and then grab Ramondre Stevenson and Michael Carter anytime touchdown.
Alrighty. Next game we have Battle of Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh at Philadelphia. Philadelphia is favorites, obviously. 10.5 point favorites. Over-under is 43. I mean, I'm going to go Eagles.
Easy.
It's possible because you never know with some of these games.
Yeah, I mean,
you never know. But
one of these games, I mean, I think the Philadelphia Eagles are great. I think they're a Super Bowl contender.
They just got Robert Quinn.
Yeah. And I don't think they're the 1972 Miami Dolphins. I don't think they're going to have that perfect year. So any one of these games could be that landmine for them. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's this one, though.
I've been saying this about the Eagles since they were 3-0. There's always that one team every year that goes 12-0, and then they lose like week 13, or they're like 11-0. They lose week 12.
Pittsburgh.
And then they always end up like losing 4 games or like 3 or 4 games in like the back couple of games of the season, and they go out in the first playoff
Cardinals.
game. Cardinals, I think it was last year or 2 years ago.
Yeah,
Steelers. There's just, I mean, the
There's
Panthers
that
obviously
team.
made the Super Bowl the year they were really good.
The Fool's
but like,
Gold team.
Yeah. But there's always that one team that just I feel like it's almost so super. They always lose like 2 to 3 games only at most, and then they blow it in the first round exit. And I think that's the Eagles.
Okay.
I think they'll be 12-0. I don't know who they play week 13, but they're going to lose their week 13 matchup or week 12 matchup, whatever it is. And then they're going to lose like 2 more games before the end of the season, and then they'll be in terrible form going to the playoffs. And then they'll go out first game.
Do you think that the Eagles win by more than 10.5 points?
I think the Eagles win by more than 20, to be honest.
All right. You know what? I'm there with you. I think this is going to be very similar to the Buffalo game, where this team is hot.
I think it's
the Philadelphia Eagles are hot right now.
They're hot. They believe in themselves. They're coming off a bye week. They're going to be fresh. Yeah. Steelers are all over the place at this point, to say the least.
They're going through their growing pains with Kenny Pickett. I think it will be good for 1 or 2 like insane highlight reel George Pickens catches, and that'll be just about it for the Steelers.
That's pretty much the Steelers every game this season. So
give me Philadelphia covering and give me the under here because I don't think Pittsburgh puts up that much points.
Yeah. Special for the week: Hurts 250 pass yards and over 100 rush yards plus 500.
I don't think that happens because it's just too many points.
I think a cheeky, like, I don't know how much you guys bet. I usually just stick with $5, but for the people that bet more than $5 at a time, a cheeky little $5 on that won't hurt you. I don't think
that's fair.
I wouldn't expect it to hit, but I think the way the Steelers have been this season, cheeky little $5 wouldn't hurt you.
Yeah. Next game we have Miami at Detroit. They have Miami as 3.5-point favorites. Over under is set at 51.5.
That's
actually.
high.
I'm gonna take Miami. I'm gonna take the under though. 51.5 is really high. If it wasn't that high, then I would take the over. Like if it literally was like 7 to 8 points under, I would take it. But 51.5 is just a lot.
I think I have my first upset alert here.
You got Detroit?
I got Detroit. I think they bounce back.
We
might get DeAndre Swift back in there. Amon-Ra St. Brown should be working towards being healthy. I don't know. I feel like I'm not ready to give up on this Detroit team. Yes, they're 1-5.
It's just weird because they shouldn't. They really shouldn't. I mean, on paper they should be 1-5, but. With the way they've been playing, like not every game, obviously. I think it was the Patriots game where they got blown out, shut out.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't know. It depends on what Lions offense shows up, in my opinion. But I don't know. It's just, I guess the name of the game for the Lions defense. I don't fully believe this. I don't back this at all. Hit them early. Hit Tua early and see what happens. I don't actually believe that. I'm completely kidding, but. I mean, we don't know. We don't really know how healthy Tua. Like on a serious note, we don't really know how healthy Tua is. Like I find it hard to believe he's not still concussed.
Yeah, it's I was watching this game, the Dolphins and Steelers last week. Tua had there was a chance where he could have had 5 picks. He had 4 dropped interceptions, and I think he had 1 actual interception. He is not playing the same just yet, and I don't know if it's. I do agree. I do believe that I think he's healthy. He's fully back and healthy. They took his time bringing him back in, but mentally, that switch has now flipped where he's almost playing a little scared. Not scared as in like fearful, but like he's getting the ball out way quicker than he normally would. He's taking the ball down. He's not like it's not the same Tua that we saw in the last.
Is that any? I'm just trying to play devil's advocate. Is there any credit that we have to give to Pittsburgh's defense for that, or do we just think it's?
I mean, this is the same defense that blew off 38 points to the Bills. Yeah. Granted, they're 2 different teams,
right?
Miami and Buffalo.
Yeah.
But those playmakers at wide receiver did all the damage, and that's.
I was at the game in Miami when Tua got hit the first time. And I was like, okay, he smacked his head pretty hard. Like I can't like, and I always said I don't fully believe the NFL's concussion protocol is what concussion protocol really should be. But if they're saying he's healthy, I guess I'll have to just accept that. But I think I agree though. I think there is a bit of a fear factor of what if I get pretty hard again. Like I'm borderline CTE right now if I get hit hard again.
Yeah,
that's my only worry. Not I would say worried for Tua, but if as a human being, my concern for Tua is if he gets hit hard again in this game, he might be in trouble, I think.
I hate that he's a Dolphin because I am a Tua fan. I do like Miami as a team, and it's hard to see them.
I hate Miami fans, but I kind of like them as a team, oddly enough. But I just hate the way their fans act. It's like we get it. You won in 1972. How many of you were born to see it happen?
We have got. Well, I don't even know what that was.
Mike's been saying some weird stuff over there since he's been back from being sick. I don't know if he's...
I'm not used to being back.
He said,
it's close to Halloween. I think that was a demon.
He's got the spookums.
We're just gonna move on to the next game. Arizona and Minnesota. At Minnesota. Arizona is 3.5-point underdogs. Over under is at 49. Minnesota's been, they're
5-1.
They're 5-1.
They're a good team, and they're a very under the radar 5-1 team. If you would have just guessed the Minnesota Vikings record, you wouldn't have been 5-1.
Well, I predicted going into the season they'd win the NFC North.
All right. You knew something that we didn't.
I was like, Packers. What are they gonna? They don't have any receivers. Aaron Rodgers is great, but I can't see any of these guys. And there's the stuff that was coming out of training camp and stuff, and Aaron Rodgers being like, yeah, we have some work to do. I was like, I'm not a believer in the Packers. And then the Bears and the Lions speak for themselves. So I kind of was like, Vikings are gonna win this division by default. Not a Kirk Cousins believer at this point at all, but I'm like, he has the weapons at the very least to be a good team. So that was my pick. That was my pick to win the division. So I'm not surprised they're 5-1. I don't think they've had the hardest schedule. I think people just kind of forgot about them because they kind of got I don't want to say embarrassed, but the Eagles kind of just it was easy work for them early in the season. I think people kind of just wrote them off because the Eagles everybody was on the Eagles hype train, and they kind of
they're definitely a playoff contender this year.
Yeah.
I didn't see them, potentially making a strike for the division coming, but they are. I mean, they're 5-1. They're a good team. Justin Jefferson looks great. Delvin Cook looks good. He's hurt right now, but he's coming back and he still looks good. Irv Smith, anyone?
I'm still not on the train.
I think they win and cover. I don't know how long how good.
Yeah, I don't think they'll
winning last.
They're not going to be a team that, in my opinion, goes 14-3. I think they're going to start losing some games soon.
Oh yeah.
They'll end up 12-5 or so, maybe 11-6. But I think this is a game.
That's enough in the NFC. That's enough to get you the 1 or 2 seed.
Yeah, and I think this is a game that they'll win pretty comfortably.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Minnesota as well. Chicago and Dallas. Dallas is 9.5-point favorites.
Wow.
Over under is 42.5. This is a little tricky because Chicago came off a big game, if you want to call that a fluke game against New England. I know New England isn't really, that good as of right now. But that Dallas defense is top 5, even top 3 if you want to say. They've been balling. Dak Prescott is back. Didn't really play that well last week, but granted, that was his first game back, so you couldn't really expect too much out of him. I'm still gonna go Dallas here. Chicago, I think Micah Parsons and company are just gonna mess Justin Fields up.
Yeah.
And
I like the Bears as a team. They're fun, and I really am rooting for Justin Fields. There's not really a player that I'm not rooting for, but I did like Justin Fields coming out of the draft. I'm always going to root for his success. It's just unfortunate to see him go to Chicago where they just can't figure out the quarterback.
I just think it was a terrible match. Ohio State quarterbacks notoriously struggle, and Bears notoriously struggle with quarterbacks.
You would think it would be some sort of negatives cancel out type thing.
Mm-hmm. I said it to people before. I don't fully believe in this Cowboys team. Their defense is there, obviously. Offense has questions left on the table, but they'll take care of the Bears.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the Cowboys win this and win this pretty handily. I don't think there's going to be a point where they're really down. I just don't know if they cover the full 9.5. Mm-hmm. I could see this being a touchdown game. I think a 27-20 type game.
I would agree. I think it's a it's going to be a closer game. I don't
Yeah.
think the Cowboys will wipe the floor with him, but I think we'll see a better version of Dak than we saw the other night.
I agree.
Yeah. We have Carolina at Atlanta this week. Next game. 4.5-point favorites for Atlanta. Over under is 41.
Ding, ding, ding. Give me another upset alert here.
You're taking Panthers?
I'm taking the Panthers. Riding high after thrashing Tom Brady. PJ Walker's got that dog in him. Come on.
I don't know if I can go with that.
This is what I call the game that puts you to sleep every week. This is
It's a stinker.
This is the stinker of the week, in my opinion. Two just, I wouldn't even say mediocre quarterbacks.
These are two teams where their fan bases are hoping they lose just so they have better draft position. They're at that point in the season.
I guess this one comes down to who wants to lose more. And I think for whatever reason, the Panthers still are trying to be good this season. So I'm going to go with the Panthers. I think I'm going to go with the upset on this one. Give it to the Panthers.
Ding, 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 ding. Yeah, give it to me.
I think the Falcons are like, okay, well, we're getting to this point now where if we give too much of a gap on the Panthers and some other teams, we're not going to have a draft pick that we want. I think Atlanta's trying to get in a position where they can draft a good quarterback.
Yeah.
So I think now Atlanta's in a position where, okay, maybe
these teams, I think, will be picking quarterbacks.
Maybe we'll make some bad decisions this game so we can get a better chance of drafting the quarterback we're looking at.
Don't let the Miami Dolphins hear that one.
Yeah. I can't go with upset, though. I'm going Atlanta. I just think...
Do you think Atlanta covers 4.5?
No, it's going to be like a field goal game, man.
Alligator?
I don't know, man.
I see this as like a 17-21 type game.
Yeah, I could see that, definitely.
Just super close. I mean, it could go either way. Like
divisional matchup.
If the Falcons had the greatest wide receiver in the world, Calvin Ridley, available.
Yeah, that's
the man that's willing to bet on himself. I give it to the Falcons there, but since he's not available, I'm gonna have to go with the Panthers on this one.
I think I'm just staying away from this game, honestly.
Oh yeah,
I gotta say one thing though. Like the Falcons they could still win that division.
That's how bad.
That's a bad division.
Bad division.
I mean, there's nobody good, nobody bad. They're all just average. I mean, obviously the Saints aren't going to win anything. The Bucs are not good.
No,
they could win that division by default.
Stop making Tom Brady happen.
So I don't know. Like I'm not sure I'd sleep on the Falcons yet because they could still win that division.
All these teams are all fighting for draft picks at this point, and it's gonna be the NFC East from the last couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And or the AFC South. You pick your fighter. The South just sucks. And there's nothing good ever comes from the South. AFC South, NFC South. I don't know. It's all poo-poo.
All poo-poo. Next game we got Vegas at New Orleans. Vegas is favorites. Vegas is picking Vegas. 1.5-point favorites. Over-under is set at 49.5 for this game. A little wild.
Saints under.
Saints under. Yeah, I'm taking under this game.
Under.
That over-under is way too high for two teams that are this season are not that great. I'm going to pick the Raiders here, though. I'm gonna pick them, the favorites. I think they start picking things up a little bit. I mean, I don't think they're as bad as their record shows, but they're still not that good. But Saints are just, I'm not sold on Andy Dalton as their quarterback. He didn't look too hot against Arizona last week. He threw 2 pick sixes. I'm gonna ride with the Raiders here.
All right, that's fair. We're waiting to hear back to see if the Saints are gonna be getting Michael Thomas back.
Yeah.
Lattimore. Jarvis
When was
Landry.
the last time Michael Thomas played a game? I really can't.
It was a
3 weeks
season.
ago?
Did he play? I feel like I didn't even know he played.
I think it was 4 weeks ago.
Played
It's 4 weeks ago.
Yeah,
now.
and he had a string of a couple solid games too, and I think it's his hamstring. It's his hamstring, right?
No, it's toe.
Toe.
It's
Okay.
his toe.
I was gonna say. Well, I saw.
Re-aggravated.
What's his face? I can't think of his name. From the Commanders, was like he was out for less games and he got shot.
Oh, Brian Robinson.
Brian Robinson got shot. He's been out for less games, and then Michael Thomas has been out with his toe.
I mean, he's not wrong.
Like, what the hell happened to his toe? Like come on.
Yeah.
He's stuck.
I'm gonna go against the Saints on this one.
Vegas taking
I
Vegas.
think-
Zach taking Vegas.
Josh Jacobs looked phenomenal this year.
Yeah.
Devontae
Yeah.
Adams. I don't want to say I'm a believer in Derek Carr, but I like Derek Carr as a quarterback. Personally, I think they'll get it done this week.
That being said, would you take this bet? Josh Jacobs, 100-plus rush yards and 3 Josh Jacobs touchdowns plus 1,600.
Plus 1,600?
Plus 1,600.
Put $5 on that and take it to the
Put the
bank.
house on it.
Put the house on it.
I don't know. I mean, it's one of those bets. You know what? Maybe I'll just throw a couple dollars in this one. Just get a Hail Mary bet going.
Yeah, why not?
Little
It's just one of those, you know what? I'm going to put a lock bet down so I win my money back on that bet.
$5 gets you like $55 here. So.
I'm putting 10 on that.
Uh-oh.
Big ball. Put 10. Give me $160. Yeah.
All right.
Oh, God. Titans at Houston. Titans, 2-point favorites. Over-unders 40.5.
Nothing good comes in the South.
Nothing good comes in the South.
These teams are poo-poo.
I mean, Tennessee's technically like the Middle East in the United States.
It's fair.
Not like the Middle East. Like
I never would have thought I heard that Tennessee is the Middle East, but but welcome back to the Big YAC. This is Mike Barretto.
Please make that into a reel.
Okay. Titans are 2.5-point favorites. I'm not touching this game. And
Yeah, I'm gonna say Titans. It should be an easy win for the Titans. I don't think there's any odds in this game that are worth it.
I don't know. The Damian Pierce train is going. That train is buzzing, and this is another game where you might see 25 touches out of Damian Pierce. He's going to go up in I think this is going to be a huge week for him in fantasy, but the Titans win this pretty handily.
Yeah, I'm going to Titans. I mean, I hate going against my guy Davis Mills, but yeah, give me Tennessee. I heard, but here's the thing. Ryan Tannehill didn't practice today. Could be something to watch. Could be Malik Willis week.
I'm for it.
You're for
I'm
it?
ready for Malik Willis.
We
know what we got in Ryan Tannehill.
So what if Malik Willis starts? Are you still taking Tennessee?
I think I'll take Houston with the points.
Okay.
I think this will be if Malik Willis starts. I think this will be a Derrick Henry heavy game, even heavier than it would be if it was with Ryan Tannehill.
Mm-hmm.
But it'll be a little bit closer.
No.
I think Tennessee, instead of winning by 7, they win by 2 in a last-minute field goal or something like that.
Yeah. Next game we got. This is an interesting game. I saw a quick little headliner on ESPN this morning. Giants Seahawks, 2 of the matchups of
two surprises of the year.
The big surprise of the year. But they have the Giants as underdogs, 3-point underdogs.
Yeah.
3-point underdogs. Over-under is at 44.5. For me, I am taking Giants as underdogs. I'm taking over as well because I think this game has the potential to be a good high-scoring game. I mean, these are 2 of the hot teams, 2 of the surprise teams. Give me Giants.
So the Giants are the number 1 team in the NFL right now that's against the spread. They're 6-1 against the spread.
Okay.
If you're putting your money down in this game, give me the Giants with the points easy. Brian Daboll has been a great coach so far, and he's just what New York needed. Saquon Barkley is back. They can win in spite of Daniel Jones, I think. Pretty easily. And, I feel like this is a very safe bet to take New York with the points because that's 3. I mean, you get a whole field goal on New York's side. That's easy money for me.
See, I'm not a believer in the Giants. I'm going to be honest.
Really?
I think they're the biggest frauds in the league this year. 6-1 for the Giants is, in my opinion, outrageous. I don't think they should be. I went over this the one day. I said I think they're going to have a crazy record, but I think they're another one. When they get to the playoffs, they're just gonna, which is weird because I'm just not a believer in a lot of the NFC teams. Like I don't see a way this season where an NFC team wins the Super Bowl.
This team reminds me a lot of that 2017 Bills team that Sean McDermott took when they go,
it's
a team that
it's too
overperformed
early.
its expectations
Yeah.
and then went on to go to the playoffs. They stuck into the playoffs. Maybe they win a game. Who knows? I don't know.
Yeah.
But I think that they are ahead of schedule in terms of the rebuild. I mean, they had a brand new regime coming, and they're building off of what was built in Buffalo. I mean, Buffalo is to the Giants as Carolina was for the Bills.
Yeah.
So we're kind of seeing that pipeline come down, and it's working so far. And like history repeats itself, and the Giants are ahead of schedule. I think this is the year that they go on and make a potential playoff run, but you're going to see a lot of rebuilding. But again, 6-1 against the spread. This for money, talking money. Give me Giants all day.
I've been talking to a fan, not a fan, but me and him have a bet at Crunch, and he, he has Giants going 10 wins, and I said I took the under on it, for $20.
Might be out of $20.
I know, I think I am, but I do think there's going to be a little bit of a reality check at some point. But I do think the Giants are on the come up.
Yeah,
like I agree with you. Yeah, they're gonna get smacked in the face, and then they're gonna cool down. But I do think they make the playoffs.
I think they'll make the playoffs. They won't win the division. I think the Eagles are pretty much locked in to win that division.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're on their way to being a good team. I think they're another team that's held back by their quarterback. Not that Daniel Jones has been awful or anything this year.
It's like Mac Jones.
Yeah, he's just kind of been like a solid game manager. And
Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah,
it's the same thing.
Which I think if they get a quarterback, or if Daniel Jones takes that step up in his career, we could see a completely different Giants team.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're still a couple pieces away from really being that justification of us being a 6-1 team right now.
I mean, I'll just say, look, I'm gonna show you guys their schedule leading up. They have Seahawks, which might be their toughest game. Okay, maybe not. This is at least their toughest game in a 5-game stretch. They have the Texans, then the Lions, then the Cowboys, the Commanders, the Eagles, the Commanders, the Vikings, the Colts, and the Eagles again. I mean, I'm looking at this and I say they beat the Texans, they beat the Lions. Okay, maybe they lose one to the Cowboys. They beat the Commanders. They win against the Eagles in New York.
I think they'll split the season with the Eagles. I think they'll both win at home.
They go on to beat the Commanders. They drop one to the Vikings. They beat the Colts, and then the Eagles beat them. And by then, we're talking about a 13-win team.
Yeah.
Who would have thought
that's sick.
It's possible? This is a very possible reality that we see for the Giants, no one saw it coming.
I think I'm gonna go with I guess it'd be an upset. Week, I believe it'd be 17 versus the Colts. I think they'll drop that game to the Colts.
Okay.
I think they'll drop one of the Eagles games. They'll drop the Cowboys game. They'll drop the Vikings game, and they'll drop the Colts game.
12-5.
So I think
That's
12.
solid.
I think 12-5 is realistically what they're. That's what I said earlier. I said they're going to finish 11-6, 12-5. I said I'm going to stick to my prediction that
I did not believe
that's
in the
where they're
Giants at
gonna-
all. I thought they were going to be like 4-13.
Yeah. Well, I remember it was like they were facing the Bears. I think it would have been week 4 for the chance to go 3-1 for them, or the Bears would have been 3-1. And I was like, how are either of these teams anywhere close to being a 3-1 team? And
Yeah.
But to be fair, I will give the credit to the Giants though, and maybe it's Dable's coaching. They're finding ways to get it done, and I think they could do that
That's all
versus
that
Seattle. But I think this is a Seattle win, in my opinion, this week. I think Seattle. I don't know what it's about Geno Smith. Was he on the Giants or the Jets? I always forget.
He was on both.
He was on
He's on
both,
both.
actually.
He was on
Yeah.
both.
I think
teams.
Geno comes back to haunt the Giants then, and I also have a PTSD from soccer, because it feels like every time we play a former Chelsea player, it seems like regardless of the position, they almost always score on us. We still win most of the time, but it feels like they always score on us for whatever reason. Like, it just happens too often. So I always just, every time I see a potential revenge game, or not necessarily even a revenge game, but just like a chance to like, screw over your former team, I feel like it happens all the time. So I'm going to go with the Seahawks just because I hope Geno doesn't have a good week, because Dylan has him as a starter in fantasy. In fact, it's the only quarterback Dylan has in fantasy. So I'm hoping Geno doesn't have a good week, but I think Geno's going to turn up against his old team.
Okay.
All right.
Next game, Washington at Indianapolis. Indianapolis
This is a stinker.
Indianapolis is 2.5-point favorites. Over-unders at 39.5. We might see a battle between Taylor Heineke and Sam Ehlinger, because Sam Ehlinger is starting this week for the Colts. And then might be a Carson Wentz. I don't know if Carson Wentz is playing or not. Might
Taylor
be
Heineke versus Sam Ellinger, huh?
Yeah, I don't know if Wentz is playing. Could be a little revenge game going on, but I don't know. I feel like from what I've heard, it's Heineke versus Ellinger. So
I'll say this right now: we're in week 8 of the NFL season. Mike, I was wrong.
You're wrong about the Commanders.
I was wrong about the Commanders. They are 1-5. I'm ready to bury that hatchet.
We're gonna I'm gonna make a reservations for the Hopper House.
Order my Carson Wentz Eagles T-shirt.
Alrighty.
They do not look good. They could be the first overall pick team this season, and you know what? They need it because they also are in the field of needing a quarterback.
Yep.
And
they're in a position right now too where their division's really heating up, and they're in real risk of falling.
Oh
behind.
yeah, there's no shot that they can catch back. There's no shot they can bounce back and win the division, which I never thought that they were. To put it out there, I never thought that they were going to win a division. I thought they were going to get to 9 wins, but I don't even see that happening.
I would have guessed like 4 wins to be honest before the season started.
Yeah. I was high on them, but
I think they're looking for Bryce Young.
I was wrong. Yeah, it's Bryce Young season. It's Bryce Young watch in Washington.
CJ Stroud watch.
Okay, let's see.
Yeah,
See if they take.
It's like
CJ
tank for
Stroud.
Tua, or do I get Justin Herbert? It's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's CJ. Yeah, I'm calling it right now. CJ Stroud's gonna be a bust.
Damn.
Ohio State quarterbacks never get it done in the NFL.
What about Alabama quarterbacks?
I see Alabama quarterbacks are not always the best, but no. Every time an Ohio State quarterback is predicted to be one of the top picks, just always doesn't go.
It's always that kid from the deep mountain school that comes out and is above all the rest.
Yeah.
Sadly for Carson Wentz, that only lasted 2 seasons. Yeah. Give me the Colts. Give me -3.
Give me the Colts.
Give me the over.
And I have reasoning for this later. Like in a little, not even later, coming soon because we have our fantasy segment coming up. But Niners-Rams, last 4:25 game. Niners are 1.5 point favorites. Now with Christian McCaffrey, over-under's at 43. It's in LA.
It's basically a home game for the 49ers still.
Rams are coming off of a bye. Niners are coming off a loss to the Chiefs. Give me. I don't know who to take here.
Give me the Niners. We talked about this last time.
No.
The Niners always find a way to get it done against the Rams. There is something about how the Niners play that always comes out on the top of the Rams. They're 1.5 point favorites. Give me a full. I mean, I think they could win this game pretty handily.
Mm-hmm.
The Rams are still hungover from their Super Bowl win. They haven't found their identity. They are getting some players back. Van Jefferson's coming back. Troy Apke's coming back.
Might have Kyron Williams.
Kyron Williams is coming back. So they'll get those reinforcements, but they lost their identity sometime between February of 2022 and September of 2022.
Yeah. Last year I was so high on the Rams from the start. They were my early prediction Super Bowl team. I said we had a segment on the podcast. I remember back at the old at the Cave in NT, where we just predicted who was going to win every major sports league. And I joking around as I said the Bills, but I'm like, if I'm being serious, I think it's the Rams. But just for the culture,
you would have
I
been
said
a common pick like that.
Yeah.
A lot of analysts had the Rams bouncing back.
This year, I think the 49ers, if they start getting their shit together a little bit more and they kind of get McCaffrey in there early, I think they're a sneaky one to make it to the Super Bowl again.
Yeah. I mean, they did it once with Jimmy G. I don't see why they couldn't.
And
do
I
it
think
again.
they're a better team now than when they did it a couple of years ago.
I agree.
They have the defensive pieces. That's never been a question. It's kind of just a question if the offense can get it done. And I think
it's really if Jimmy G can get it done.
And I think what it comes down to now is you have McCaffrey, who's better than I know Mostert. I think had a really good playoff run. But McCaffrey's a better running back than Mostert, which it takes off the pressure from Jimmy G a little bit because he has a running back he can turn to. It takes the pressure off of Deebo Samuel to run the ball as much. He can just focus on being a receiver more now too. And you can get even more creative because they both can run and receive.
It's so funny because the Niners now have the best running wide receiver and the best catching running back.
Yeah.
There are so many different sets and
I think if they can figure out again, I know it's midseason, they should have already had a game plan figured out. But if they can find a way to work McCaffrey into their game plan, I think they're I'm not saying my favorites come out of the NFC because I don't think they are. They should be considered the favorites, but I think they're the sleeper to come out of the NFC this year.
Given the NFC as a whole, I think it's really the Niners and the Eagles above everyone else. And I don't think that's too hot of a take. I think it's going to come down to those two teams in the NFC Championship.
Yeah. Here we go. Sunday Night Football. Green Bay at Buffalo. Buffalo right now, looking at DraftKings, are 11-point favorites. Over/under is 47.5. Give me the Bills. Go Bills. I don't have it.
I said it before. I'll say it again. Bills by 20. Give me the over. They could drop. They could drop the over/under on their own.
See,
Green Bay's mid.
This is gonna be very controversial. I'm not a Packers believer. I think I stated that when we talked about already. I think I stated that I'm not a Packers believer.
Go on.
But with that being said, I am going to the game Sunday night most likely. I'm probably buying my tickets tomorrow.
Okay.
Good
and
luck.
The last time I went to a Bills game, or went to besides work, because I work for the Sabres. For anybody that doesn't know, that's not from Zach Squared here. I work for the Sabres, but if not counting me working, the last time I attended a game as a fan and the team I wanted to win actually won, it has to have been at least 5 years.
Okay.
I think this streak ends.
So surely it doesn't happen again. But if you want to make some money this weekend, I'm going to be losing money going to the game. That's for sure.
Okay.
The way the ticket prices are. If you want to make some money, sprinkle a little bit of money on the Packers this weekend.
You're pulling a me. The Baltimore week.
I think the Bills are going to win.
Me Tennessee week.
The only game the Bills have lost this year is the game I went to in Miami. If there's ever a time the Bills are going to lose again, it's coming off a bye week. The Packers somehow surprise them. Aaron Rodgers just decides he wants to play. The wide receivers decide they know how to play football all of a sudden. Just because I'm there at the game. Like last year when Jonathan Taylor dropped like 5 touchdowns, went to the Monday night game versus the Pats. Just Mac Jones threw 3 passes the whole game. The Bills still lost. Hammer the Packers if you're trying to make some money.
So I'll give you some stats to kind of to soothe the pain a little bit. Sean McDermott is undefeated coming after a bye, and Green Bay has never won in Buffalo.
Wow.
I don't know if that should make you nervous or
that makes me nervous. I hate. You shouldn't have told me that kind of stuff. Every time I feel like I hear those kind of stats, the team that's like the favorite in that kind of stat loses.
Aaron Rodgers has never been a double-digit underdog. So, I don't care.
Yeah.
Realistically,
the Bills are going to win this game, but
go throw away all of your superstitions, all of this. Bills are going to come in off of the bye, getting healthy, kick the Packers door down, smoke that Packers pack,
and that cheese, that cheddar.
Give me that cheddar. I want Trey White. I want Tremaine Edmonds. I want Jordan Poyer. I want them all on the cheese heads and go to town.
Smoke with some cheese.
Give me that Packers pack.
Yeah. Last game, Monday Night Football, Bengals-Browns. 3.5-point favorites for Cincy, 46.5-point over-under. Give me Bengals. Joe Burrow threw for 41 last week.
Yeah, no, this is easy.
Yeah.
I think the Bengals offense has found their groove. They look good. They look good again, and against the Browns that are still trying to find their identity without Deshaun Watson and Jacoby Brissett's not getting it done for them. Yeah. So give me Bengals -3.5. Give me Bengals -10. I think this is going to be a high-scoring game, so give me the over 2.
Yeah, I think the Bengals they figured some stuff out now. I think Joe Burrow is just getting warmed up, and I think it's divisional game. Anything can happen. But I think it's Joe Burrow's leading a charge for this Bengals, and they're going to soar back and win this division.
I agree.
Alrighty, so that's all for Take It to the Bank. Real quick, we're pressed for time. I'm just going to run through a little bit of fantasy. So for fantasy, just going to name starts, sits, and sleepers, and then we're going to do a little recap of our Merge League. So for starts, I just want your guys' opinion. Yes, no, maybe so. For my starts this week at quarterback, Tua at Detroit. Running back, Kenny Walker at the Giants. Receiver, A.J. Brown at Pittsburgh. And tight end, Zach Ertz versus Minnesota.
I think you got all gimmies there.
All gimmies?
Tua especially. Detroit is such a gold mine for fantasy. If you have a Detroit offensive player, then you're probably in a winning record. If you're playing players that go against Detroit, odds are you're going to win your week because they put up monstrous games because Detroit has all offense and no defense.
Zach, do you have a?
I got some great players to have in your team this week.
Okay.
Lamar Jackson.
Okay.
We got Mike Gesicki, sleeper pick.
Okay.
Okay.
Pick.
Devontae Smith.
Okay.
If you couldn't tell, I'm just naming players for my fantasy team.
I'm
just manifesting greatness.
These are all sleepers.
Yeah. But like I said before, I think Geno Smith this week is I think it's a good thing for Dylan to have him this week. And this is a pretty big game for our side of the bracket too. I'm top of the division right now. Dylan's only one game back.
This is
possession
of
the next
first place in the league.
The next 2 weeks are the big weeks for me because I'm only a game ahead of Dylan and Brennan.
Brennan beat the brakes off me last week.
Yeah, I saw. It wasn't pretty.
I
beat Brennan 149 to 146 or something like that. Like it was, or 249 to 246. Like it was like I put up a stupid amount of points and I literally soared back in like the Monday night game and won by 3 or whatever it was. Brennan's a problem. I don't know how he's only 4-3, but Brennan's a problem in that league.
Brennan's a problem.
Dylan's kind of like started off hot, and now I think he's on a 2-game losing streak. I want to say right now.
I mean, these teams are pretty even.
Yeah.
We got 2 2-5s, Larry and our fabulous producer.
I dealt him loss number 5.
I stink. I'm just gonna start bleeding players.
And then
I'm gonna look for real cash on the side. I'm gonna start selling people off, bribe me.
We have 4 4-3 teams, and 1 5-2 team.
Yeah,
and that 1 5-2 team.
I'm just living vicariously through my kid.
The one team that's 5-2 is also the team that has a lot of heart.
Yes, we have a lot of heart in our team. I can tell you that. No, realistically though, I'm not feeling too great about this week. I have my first and second round picks out in Austin Eckler and Travis Kelce on bye weeks. It's not really too great considering this is one of the most important games of our season. With Dylan being 4-3.
This is a big game for you.
Yeah. So I'm hoping you can get it done, Dad, and take care of Brennan. I'm gonna tell you, please switch your team around. I don't know if you did that yet, but make sure you switch your team around, please, because I need you to pull off an upset here.
Well, I mean, I get Diggs back. I picked up Tua because because Mahomes is on the bye and I had Ryan. He's not even like a starter now, so I had to pick up. I claimed Tua, so we'll see.
Make sure I don't know why you don't have a defense. I'm looking at your team right now.
I claimed one. The Packers defense stunk, so I just dropped it, and then I just don't know how to pick up I honestly thought I picked up a defense, and then it didn't show up. So then
snagged on waivers.
I snagged a different one just now, like about 20 minutes ago.
We got some podcasts on podcast violence over here with you and Team Tank facing off.
Oh yeah, that is this week. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Little matchup. I beat Mr. Meranto last week. I got to keep the streak rolling. I was in a little bit of a rut, but hopefully, I got to start taking. I'm gonna start taking things a little bit more seriously.
All right.
Start doing a little bit more dishing for waiver wires.
Digging.
Yeah. The only problem is it's just a high-scoring game or high-scoring league. So for projections, it's like. It's kind of hard to you got a lot of good guys on your team, so it's you just got to pick the better of the better. But yeah, got Tank. Hopefully pull out with a dub. I want to go over my sits real quick. Rodgers versus Buffalo, James Robinson versus New England, Drake London versus Panthers, Dawson Knox versus Green Bay.
Why do you think London versus Carolina?
London versus Carolina because he's just been cold.
Yeah.
London's fallen cold, and I think you should have him on your bench until he picks it back up again. because the Falcons for some reason are on this like kick where they're rotating like Algier, Huntley. They're running the ball a lot with guys who Algier, he's all right, nothing crazy, and then Huntley is just kind of like a guy. He's just a guy.
Jag. He's a jag.
Yeah.
Just a guy.
Yeah. So I say keep London on the bench until he starts picking it back up. But the Panthers, is a game that he could pick it back up, but until further notice, just keep him. Unless you have to start him, keep him on the bench. And then sleepers, I have Sam Ehlinger versus Washington, Deontay Foreman versus Atlanta, Boyd at Cleveland, and Cade Otton versus Baltimore.
I really like Boyd at Cleveland. I think the way he was utilized last week, I think we still see that coming in. He's, I think, a top 30 wide receiver play right now, which means he's good enough to be a flex in a 10-team league.
Yeah, Boyd's been great. That Cincinnati offense, as we mentioned before, is picking things up. Foreman had a good game last week against Tampa Bay. If he plays, I say keep him in there. Ehlinger, I think we might see a little bit of a different spark to the Colts offense than we've seen from Matt Ryan. So, could be out there if if you're in a dynasty league, I'd pick up Sam Ehlinger for the hell of it. If your dynasty league doesn't really have any quarterbacks available. And then Cade Otton has been Tom Brady's guy as of recently, receiver-wise. Has been just getting the targets. If you need a tight end, Cade Otton. Yeah, and so then that's start sits and sleepers. Yeah.
All right.
That's all I have for you guys, though. Any other closing remarks, Zach?
Go on, listen to the Zack2 Podcast.
Yeah, Zack2 Podcast.
We're very inconsistent, but I promise it's a good watch. We have a lot of fun over there.
It's a fun show. Our time on that show, I think that was one of our.
That was honestly
one of our best times. I think that was one of our best shows that we've done in a whole.
It was fun.
I think we're on episode, I think 30, it was 37, 38, and that was one of my favorites. There's always, me and Zach always, a lot of time me and Zach end up hanging out after the podcast is over. Just time is we're recording, Zach's off of work. And we both, I feel like every time one of us has walked out of an episode saying with a feeling like that's a good episode. We both had that feeling. He said it before I was literally like 10 seconds before I was about to say it. And I'm like, oh, that was a good episode. It was just great because everybody was, you guys don't even know Zach that well, and that's always one thing Zach said is Zach's like, I don't know you guys them that well, but honestly, it works fine.
Flowed naturally.
Yeah. I didn't feel like there was any too many or any really awkward periods. You had Molly just sitting in the corner just throwing stuff in. He was just throwing stuff in too. So it was a lot of fun last week or 2 weeks ago, whatever it was now at this point. So
can't wait to do it again.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Yeah, I can't wait to be back on. That was a lot of fun. Drink a couple more brewskis.
Yeah,
yes, sir.
The staple of the Zack2 Podcast now that we're 21 is having the drink of the week on.
Yes.
It's a staple.
It's fun. But and that's it. That's episode 17 of the Big YAC Podcast. Just want to thank Mr. Meranto again. Emerge has new merch now. Everybody go check that out. Go buy yourself some Emerge merch.
The Emerge merch shop. Yes.
Yeah.
We're the one thing I'll say is that everything that any monies that we're making off that shop is going right back into the building. We've already, Christian and I, who helps me run the building, we're doing in the room next to us another set that's going to be more like what I would call comfy cozy, couple chairs, a little bit more casual for different types of podcasts. And we're actually talking about kind of just really doing some stuff with the other space down in the basement and building a really cool man cave down there for bigger groups and watch parties and stuff like that. So, but all the money that anything we make on that type of stuff is going right back into the thing. So, again, I just try to throw it out when I can. If you're interested in doing a podcast, we'd love to have you here at Emerge. We have our own network. We do all the YouTube stuff. I like doing the production for everybody. So, if you know somebody that's just, and we're looking for anything. If there's something you're passionate about, just come on out and do it. My son and I do a fandom one. Okay, I love to be on Zack2 once in a while, but we're just trying to give everybody a chance to come and be creative. So if you're interested in doing a podcast, reach out to these guys and they can give you my number and come on by.
Sir. Yes, sir. And also, thank you, Matt Johnson, BICBP Network. That's it. Happy Halloween to everybody. Be safe. Don't get too drunk this weekend. Do responsible things. Check your candy. If there's anything in the candy.
Check for razor blades.
Check for razor blades and drugs and all that stuff.
Fentanyl.
And see you guys next week for episode 18. Signing off.